Now my story begins coming off of Rude Dale because they've been rude as hell. I went to this gas station. You hear me? And this guy, move, gone. This guy was like, "You still be dancing? Yeah, you need to try Red River." And I'm like, "What the hell is Red River?" And he showed me what it looked like in the club and stuff. And he was like, "You need to check them out." I look across the street. The bowling alley says Twin Peaks. And it had an astronaut. A motherfucking astronaut, man. On the bowling alley. That's off of University, off of Rudell. Now, because I know who I am. I had to do some searching. And y'all see where the hell Red River is on Technology Boulevard. And you see us at the salon and shit like that, you know, like Looney Tune Saloon, you know, Looney Tune. They thought they had them one. But anyway, the rest of the video gonna make sense. They stupid in a bitch. And for those with the small brains, you know, Jesus parted the Red Sea and shit. And he walked on motherfucking water, you know, because we flow like water. But you know, because I bowl and shit, you know, you hear me when I say I take that ball. And I flick that motherfucker. Because all sports over here, remember, like ace, volleyball, you know, with the three-pointers and stuff like that, like Curry and shit. They stab Curry on this shit. Hey, y'all know I made a video on Curry the other day. You hear me? I don't know who bowled that's famous and stuff like that. But if you go off of Nightmare on Elm Street and shit like that at the tall, where the dead end is, by Collins, like Coil and shit. Where the power plant is, the Locust Power Substation, sub-bus station, you hear me? Sub-bus station. On top of that damn hill, on Elm, when you look down, it look like you just take a ball and bowl it and knock that motherfucking Atlantis Castle down on the square. You hear me? But anyway, like, okay, so anyway, the rest of this, because I'm a streetwalker, the rest of this video is going to show you North Lakes Park. How they didn't park the power. But anyway. More specifically, it's off of Eagle, because you know they soaring above water in the sea level that you do not see. Okay. Flip 789, you get 678. And that's my birthday, you know, because you know in the Bible you gotta flip, the tables turn and all that other shit. But y'all be blessed. I told y'all I was married to the motherfucking game. Anyway. So I'm riding today, right? And I got on Malone and I was like, Malone look weird. Y'all, this shit wild in a bitch. I'm really appalled right now. It's hot. It's 102 in my car, but I'm riding today, and I used to live in this neighborhood off of North Lakes Park, North Lakes, not South Lakes, because I live by South Lakes Park now. So I'm on Malone. So I kept looking at that damn word and I was like, man, because the way water flow and shit, like the frequency and the energy and shit like that. And what I just discovered about Famous Amos with a T, you hear me? Because, you know, atmosphere, you know, look like Amos, but atmos. Like gas, like I said, we living in a hot air balloon gas bubble. So anyway, gas flows too like frequency as well, like water. So my ass done made it over here to Malone. And I should go back to show y'all what the fuck. So anyway, I flipped Malone because they doing construction over there off of Wendy's. By Wendy's. The Redhead. You know what I'm saying? Burger place. Shit like that. Where they put everything in a grinder and mix it all up and spill it out. So anyway, Malone, when you flip M-A-L, because that's the mall, right? You flip it, it's wall. So wall 1. And I was like, what the hell? That's weird that I seen that. Like I said, I'm gonna go back because I got some time. About 25 minutes before I pick up my son. You hear me? A quarter. You hear me? Oh shit. Hold on, let me show y'all. Hold on. Now, right here is, I made a video on this a long time ago on my old TikTok, which they deleted by now. But this is the gold North Lake Center, where the tennis player, you know, Venus and Serena and shit like that. You know, they play tennis and stuff, you know. But this is called Gold Field, you know. Just to point that out, right? Just have to point that out. That's where I'm turning at. You hear me? So I'm going back to Parkside, and I'm gonna show y'all, because all this shit, like I said, I'm the streetwalker, has a fucking meaning, right? My family's last name, shout out gang gang. You hear me? Okay, y'all, I'm gonna start on Amherst, which is Amherst Street, right? Amherst Street, and Dart the mouth, right? Dartmouth. I'm gonna start here. Okay, you hear me? And they're having construction right here. But I turned from Malone. So this is Malone right here, which if you flip M-A-L is wall. Wall 1, right? Where they do a construction and everything. And it's a church over here and all that stuff. I don't know what church that is, but anyway, I'm a keep going straight because, you know, that is what bothered me, that sign right here, as well as Dartmouth and all that shit. So anyway, these lions and tigers and bears are my, you know, you get to Fordham. You know, Ford is like the truck, and I keep talking about ham because that's what we not talking about is the ham. You know what I'm saying? Like, we talk about the turkeys on Thanksgiving and all that shit, but we don't talk about the hams. But anyway, because I'm going ham right now. But anyway, Georgetown, you know, is significant to me because I never understood what that meant. But now that I see what that wall mean, you know, George, because George Washington is, you know what I'm saying, is the one who created the wash and all that shit and made it a motherfucking easy pond. You see that easy pond right there? Anyway, y'all see it? Okay. I ain't done because I kept going straight because, like I said, I'm the streetwalker and shit like that, and I seen North Lake's trail, right? And I looked at that and I was like, okay, North Lake is water, you know, and then the T-rail, you know, the rail, like the Underground Railroad and shit like that, but because words are spells, and I know what they did because everything happens above, below, and all that, within and without and all that other stuff. I understand what this meant, like the Underground Railroad rail, T-rail. You know, because T is what Jesus, you know, what the George Washington stuff made us look at the Bible and shit like that. But I kept going straight and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? You see the dip? It's dip, baby, dip. You hear me? At the park side. That's what the fuck they did. They parked the side, right? Anyway, you see ain't nothing over here on this park side and stuff like that. And I kept going straight. Hold on, I had to go all the way down, so I'm a pause it right quick. I seen that one on their license plate, and I was like, haha, that's funny, right? So as I got to this stop sign right here, I was like, damn, you know, Auburn, they burned us all. You know what I'm saying? All AU is all burn. You hear me? I was like, God damn, no, they didn't. That's what I mean, but they did. You know what I'm saying? You see the sunflowers and shit. Anyway, I kept going straight because I was like, I'm trying to get out. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to go pick up my son and shit. And then when I get down here, it's a sign down here that says Bowling Green. And I said a long time ago that this looked like a one big ass bowling alley and shit like that, because that's what we doing with the motherfucking sun and shit. You hear me? Because we now we understanding what the sun really is, right? You understand? Bowling Green. You know, I'm taking a bowling ball and I'm motherfucking knocking down the pins. You hear what I'm saying? P-I-N, pins. Anyway, and I'm soaring with the wind. You understand? Because I'm a wind sign. You understand? I'm an air sign. This is North Lakes Parks. You know, when they park the baseball diamonds in the rough and all that other shit, you know, the pressure and all of that. It's a whole bunch of baseball diamonds, basketball stuff and shit, and it's a stop sign, and then you get to the go field, which I made a video on that prior. Motherfucking tennis center. This is some bullshit. I told y'all they put everything in a motherfucking blender and mixed it all up and then spit it all out and shit like that, and think nobody was gonna comprehend the complex design of this motherfucking stage, because that's what the fuck it is. You see that? And you see the water over there and all that stuff. This is still North Lakes Park. This is a softball complex and all that shit. And then you get a fire station over here, which they try to cover up the fire station because they put a whole bunch of fucking houses over here and stuff like that. But like I said, I used to live over here and this wasn't here. Now all of a sudden it's here, but the fire station right here, you see it right there. And now it's not. It's facilities management, but it says fire station number 5, and 5 is the star. Now I just made a video on 5-star Atmos, famous Amos and shit. You hear me? Is the time was 2:54. I know y'all seen that. 54 is my jersey number in basketball. You know, shoot them and score aces and all that shit. Cause I played basketball, volleyball, and I ran track, and I can bowl a little bit, and I can play darts a little bit. I can do all that shit. You understand what I'm saying? Like, this shit wild in a bitch, and I don't like it. I don't like it one motherfucking bit. This whole big ass stage and the motherfucking design source is them the T, Texas. T for Texas. We teeing off in this bitch, you hear me? Now, which has a lot of shit over here, because there used to be farms over here. I was telling my supervisor that it was farms and stuff over here. But you know, it says Chivalry, because you know, that's the first street sign that you come to off of Kings Ridge. And this is the motherfucking high school right here, Denton High, that I had a dream about before I even got here. Before I even got here, this motherfucking same school with that big ass horse right there. You can't really see a horse or whatever, but this motherfucking school was in my goddamn dream. Denton High School, the Purple Rain and shit like that. You know, before it even got here, it was in my dream. And it so happened to be an IB school, which is International Baccalaureate School, world school, though, you know. Because the world is a motherfucking school and shit, you know. I'm just pointing that shit out because it's so obvious at this point. Pinpointing this shit. You hear me? Radio in this bitch, you hear me? Ah! And what's funny is today I woke up and I was like, man, I got this pressure in my head. Let me take a BC powder. That's where I'm from, BC too. Just point that out. To relieve this pressure so it won't turn into a migraine. But it's keep getting worse or whatever, and I don't understand why, but you know, I just flow with my day. And I ended up walking earlier, you know, to get some sun because I had redid my locks and I wanted them to dry. I put a bonnet on, that's why they folded. But anyway, you see, this is 2 years of growth, and they started off as babies. If y'all been watching my fucking videos, and I don't really let nobody touch my hair. I let one lady touch it to start it and all that other stuff, and she retwisted a couple of times, but I've been maintaining it. But that's beside the point I'm trying to make. You know, these roots and stuff, you know, that have a mind of their own, you hear me? Because when you water them, like I did, this energy that's within me, I watered it, and I didn't care what nobody thought of what I was doing. I knew I was gonna get to the bottom of the puzzle pieces of why are we here? Yeah, why we don't have nothing, and why do I keep feeling like this is deja vu for me? Now, you can ask several people I done had conversations with. I done told them about the dreams that I had and before it happens and stuff like that. And like I was talking to my coworker today, I was telling her that I had a dream about this school, and I said it's like they took whatever was in my dream and put it out. But it's crazy because it's like these houses over here, some of these houses over here are really small. They like boxes and stuff. And I was like, that's for homeless people. And she was like, why you say that? I said, because that was in my dream. That was the design plan that was in my head. And it was for homeless people because they was going to work in my school. And this was this motherfucker with the horse, with the Bronco and shit like that. The giddy up type shit. You understand what I'm saying? Was in my motherfucking head. Quit playing with me. The real stallion. You hear me?